Let's go. So I know you guys probably saw various attempts to get to this episode yesterday. So basically, two of the people had pretty decently bad audio. And as you guys know, these shows go on podcasting platforms, specifically Spotify. And yeah, viewers don't want to hear any of that bad audio noise. So if I ended up deleting any of those bad episodes on my timeline, sorry. It's no offense to anyone. No one made me mad. No one did anything. But, audience takes precedent first. When they want to hear their podcast, they get their good podcast. That's how it works.
100%.
The audience is where you're gonna make your money at, or that's where my listeners are. And obviously Disney lost that a long time ago because they're like, fuck the audience, and they're like, wait a minute, why are we making no money on our products anymore? It's like that one meme where the one guy's doing this.
Gee, I wonder why we're losing money. I wonder why.
I had Jack V. Lloyd on, who is Voltanerist. So my computer literally shut off right when I started the show, and we were
Wow.
gone for like 8 minutes or 10 minutes, something like that. And then by the time the show was over, he had to leave. And as you guys know, these shows minimum are an hour, because I think that's a decent minimum length for a podcast. And then so I had to turn that into a pre-recorded video, which is fine because I could just upload that as a pre-recorded video. So yeah, we are finally at episode 481, and I did my schedule on the show, and we should be at episode 490 when it gets to Tuesday's big showdown later on this week. So yeah, we're almost there at 500 episodes. I thought I was going to have more one-on-ones today, but 2 people ended up dropping out for various reasons, which is fine because I was really tired from work, so it's okay. But now we're here with Mr. Simu, the DJ, right? Smooth. Wait, are you really a DJ? Actually, is that what you do in your?
Well, I used to like do some music editing in the past. I mean, nowadays it's more like part-time stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm still doing it for parties and all that stuff. I used to do like edits of hip hop songs and edit out like wacky artists that I consider not worthy of certain songs, and just edit them back together so it doesn't sound like he was actually on there, for example. So yeah, I was kind of infamous for that one for certain reasons, because I edited out like certain southern rappers from certain songs because I just didn't vibe with them too much or something like that. It was kind of funny for a while. But yeah, I'm still editing music every once in a while, but it's mainly like video game music, or if some people request me to like do edits, like splicing like multiple remixes into one song, I still do that. So yeah, but nowadays I'm more focused on doing like a bit more commentary, or like playing video games, or just just shooting some shit, like just talking to people, and that's pretty much it.
Well, before we get to that, let's start with your origin story, because that way, if you do come for a second, third, fourth appearance, then they could already just get the origin story out of the way. So how was your life growing up, actually? Because you're from Europe, actually.
I was born and raised in Germany, to a German mom and a Scottish father. So that's why
I actually God.
That's quite an interesting mix, isn't it?
If anybody doesn't know things about German people, if you ask them something, they are just always direct. That is just their thing.
Yeah, that's the meme. Yeah, they're pretty blunt and direct with a lot of things. That's very true. I mean, according to certain statistics, I got the best and worst of both worlds in that regard. Yeah. But you know what? It's kind of funny. Yeah, I've been born and raised in Germany. To a relatively, well, I wouldn't say poor, but just like the old school middle class that used to exist a couple of years ago. And yeah, we never really had that much money. My mom used to work like at nights to actually like keep the family afloat, and my dad was doing like 2 day jobs at the time. So yeah, it was an interesting time growing up, and especially with school and everything. But yeah. Nowadays, it is a lot different, because now I'm an adult and I have to look out for myself. So it's a little bit different. I'm working as a nurse, actually. So the DJ part is kind of funny nowadays.
Oh, that's why I'm always busy. Okay.
Yeah. The funny thing is, my schedule is wacky because I do like the free shift system, like morning, days, and nights. When I work on nights, it's actually perfect because I'm kind of running on the well, I should say American time zones, because I get up like in the late afternoon for my time, so that's pretty early for most Americans. So that's where how this whole thing started, really. I've been doing this job for nearly 10 years now, and it has its perks and also its disadvantages, to say the very least. You know.
Because I actually know a few nurses from my life, and one of them still works at the hospital. If anyone doesn't know
Mhm.
how hard nurses work, and I get it, like medical profession has been going through some really, really, really corrupt organizations that have been making them do a lot of
Yep.
things. But I do respect that doctors, nurses, anyone that's maybe a receptionist in like
Mhm.
hospitals, they do work a lot of hours. I remember when she told me, she said I work like 50 hours a week when it's like
Yep.
real
That
busy.
sounds about right. That sounds about
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
because if people don't know, there are obviously like certain time frames where people get hurt more based off the time of the year. Like when it's like if it's
Hmm.
dead for certain businesses, then that means it'll be slow at like hospitals. But when it's like flu
Yeah.
season, everyone's coming in. Like there, you might have some days where you're like, and keep factoring 50 hours a week, just the week. That's not counting overtime on the single days
Yep.
itself. You know?
And it is kind of nuts because certain seasons are very wild. I mean, I'm working in ophthalmology, which is like the clinic for
Mhm.
eye stuff, and you
Oh
would be
God.
surprised how much dumb shit people do with their eyes around the spring and summer season. It is utterly insane.
There was a lady that I knew that I used to do one-on-ones with sometimes. She worked in I think a psych ward or something like that, a medical ward,
Mm,
and guys would come in because they would put their
mm,
dicks in things that they should not be putting them in. There were God,
mm,
the stories she would say. You know how like there's hoses to water your grass and shit. She said she had a guy that came in that because he was so drunk one night he tried to put his dick in a hose. He tried to fit
mm,
it in there. I was like, please never tell me anything more about this, please. Like there
mm.
are some horror stories from like hospitals. Do you have any of those actually? Like any like really crazy stories that have ended up happening?
Not really, because I mean, I've only been working in the public hospital for like 5 years now, and it's been interesting. I had like some wild injuries going on, but not like something majorly crazy or anything. It's like the injury that you get when you fall, or if somebody had an accident at work because they didn't wear their protective glasses or something.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's been a fun experience, to say the very least.
Okay. And what made you want to be a nurse then? Because you went from music to being a nurse. That's a pretty big jump there.
I used to actually, I wanted to do like a job in logistics, but I ended up like
Mm,
not doing it because I felt like I was too stupid for it, because my
mhm.
maths grades weren't exactly great, so I wasn't
Yeah.
actually exactly great with numbers, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up like looking for a new field to work in. So I had a civil service open still, because Germans either have to do military service, voluntary military service, or like civil service. So I did civil service, and I ended up working in a hospital in the ICU. So I ended up working like a very intense job, and I was like,
Mhm.
well, I actually like doing people, and you know, I yeah, I really enjoyed doing that job, and that's how I ended up doing it.
Mhm. So people know you for being a moderator for a
Hmm.
lot of the Geeks and Gamers F&T related channels.
Yes,
You're a moderator for uh Vietnamese chick. Good lord. Oh my god, X-Ray
X-ray
girl.
girl. Hmm.
Yeah. Actually met her at the Vegas meetup actually, and she is a she's definitely Asian if you hear her talk.
Yep.
That is I was gonna go up to her and be like, "Hey, you have any egg rolls?" And that probably wouldn't have went over very well with her husband there.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
God.
I mean, it's very interesting, right? I never really had any prior experience to like moderation work on that in that
Mhm,
kind of sphere, and
mhm,
it's been a very interesting experience and eye opening, to say the very least, because
uh-huh.
it really exposes you to like a much bigger pool of people,
Oh yeah.
and see like how people are in the chat.
Mhm,
So it's pretty interesting. And yeah, from there on, like X-Ray made me a moderator. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, because I just felt like I was just a regular viewer, you know. And yeah, from there I hopped onto like the Discord of Neurotic, which is kind of a cesspool within itself, because there's a lot of weird people on that one. But you know, I love each and every one of them. They're very fun
I
to
don't
hang out
actually
with.
go on Discord all that much. I don't even really like Discord that much, honestly. I think Discord is just trash. I know why a lot of people like it and use it. It's really easy to create groups of people, because it's way better than
Mhm.
having like a huge Twitter group or like a huge Facebook group. But like Discord, man, I haven't really used
Mm.
Discord functionally in like a long time, actually.
I mainly use it for voice communications in game, because I fucking hate the in-game voice chat for most games. I
You're
fucking
right. They're
hate it.
bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was even like when this whole Helldivers debacle happened. I don't know how caught up you are in that one.
I was there for the whole
So
thing.
yeah, the whole Helldivers debacle really made me glad that I actually used the Discord as a voice chat option, because I don't want Sony to record anything I'm saying. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't say gamer words or anything like that.
yeah.
I'm pretty clean when it comes to that. I
Dude,
mean,
yeah,
out
most
of
of my life, how people say like, yeah, like Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare, rooms and shit like that. I knew about them because you could like hear it if you had like an internet, if you had
COD
internet
lobbies
with
were
your
wild.
consoles and stuff like that. I mostly play games just on mute and just played them, finish them, beat them, move on to the
Yep.
next game. I didn't really. The only time I had like an interaction when it came to like games is when maybe I played like Smash
Mm.
with someone or like a fighting game or like Street Fighter. That's the only time I
Street
had
Fighter.
someone
Yeah.
right there, right? Because like most of the
Mhm.
time, I didn't really there wasn't like there was voice chat available, but I'll be honest here, most systems I didn't buy the headsets for them. I kind of just didn't
Yeah.
do that. I was literally just a dude. Went to my game store, bought the game, came home, put the game in, played the game till I beat it, move on to the next game.
Yep.
That's it. I didn't know about
That's
all
how
this
I'm
other
playing
internet
games.
drama. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Ideally, you want to avoid the internet drama for the most part, right? You just want to play
mhm,
games and have fun with them, right?
yeah,
That's the general idea. I
mhm,
mean, I wouldn't consider myself extremely competitive. I love playing fighting games. I grew with
yeah,
Street Fighter and King of Fighters and all
mhm,
that stuff. But nowadays, even when I play competitive online, like Soul Calibur or some stuff like that I used to play around COVID, it was insane, dude. Like the amount of stuff that people flung at me when I was playing online, it's just pretty fucking funny. I just muted
mhm,
myself and thought to myself, like, well, let them talk. I don't care. Just
yeah.
just just go on with your day, you know. That's how it is.
Which consoles do you prefer? Did you always grow up like PlayStation or Xbox?
Um, I used to be a Nintendo kid, because that was I got a Super
Yeah,
Nintendo when I grew up. That was the more affordable console that my parents could actually afford back in the day.
mhm, yeah,
Um, and I switched to PlayStation first in the late 90s. But I well actually went to play on Xbox as well. Like, I think the Xbox 360 era was probably the most influential era for me
mhm,
when it comes to like the games I used to play. But yeah, I'm not exactly like on one side of the console wars, because I'm
mhm.
starting to slowly convert to the PC master race, as they call it. Still find that term funny to this day. And I'm more appreciative of PC gameplay as well, because of the keyboard and mouse functionality, especially with shooters.
Yeah,
And it is just simply more precise and easier to use, because you have so
yeah.
many buttons at your disposal. It's much easier to work with them, you know.
Because for me, it was with League of Legends. That's when I got That's when I started getting more into like PC gaming and stuff like that. And when I
Yeah.
had the keyboard, it was just so different because I was just a controller. Because a controller is
Yeah.
just a little bit more auto default, more like I'd say NPC, but more like it's a lot more. It's a lot more streamlined to what you do to make things happen. On a keyboard,
Yep.
for anyone who doesn't know, it's mostly QWER. It's mostly the keys you're going to be using,
Yep.
actually.
It is
And
not
a lot of
that
people
that
and a lot
complicated
of
when you
people
really
still don't
think about
understand
it.
that. It's like they're like, I can't use mouse and keyboard. And it's like, bro, it's like it's four keys.
Yep.
It's not that bad.
And the crazy thing is, you can bind the
You can
controls are a
choose the
lot more
keys you want.
customizable. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
more customizable. You can also use a controller. That's the crazy thing.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people forget that you have this functionality still, even if you
Hmm.
prefer to play with a controller. I mean, I got an arcade stick for fighting games, but I also don't mind
Oh, those
playing
are
with a
cool.
controller.
Okay. Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, the arcade stick is a bit of a bit rough for me because my
Mhm.
motorics are not exactly the most
Yeah.
refined,
Mhm.
but you know, it does the trick for the most part. And
Mm.
I'm just playing games for fun because I don't mind being competitive every once in a while, but I don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to win every single time. I used to be a sore loser when I was a kid. I hated losing, but as time went by, I was like, you know what? I'm just in it for the fun. And that's the most important thing.
I pick
Just
and
enjoy
choose my games to be
yourself.
competitive in. Like, not every game I'm trying to be
Yeah,
like best ranked one in. Like, maybe it really just has to depend on the game. Like, I had that same thing with
absolutely.
Smash. Like, you know how everyone, you know, if
Mhm.
you're around like the Smash community, I'm pretty sure you know, like, your friends will want to go to like locals and they'll compete. But if they go to like any
Yep.
other place around that has Smash with way more people, they'll get like destroyed. And then they'll be
Yep.
like, wait, so then their minds open. I have that right now with people that used to hang out with. They were like super into Smash, and I like Smash Bros. Too. I've been playing Smash since like Melee. I actually love Smash in general.
I
But
love
I
Smash
realized to
Brothers.
myself,
I love that
yeah,
game.
like I realized to myself, I'm not going to be a super competitive Smash Bros. Player on the level of like even like Mango and the other good people from like Ultimate. It's just not going to happen. You not just
Yeah.
dedicate hours and hours of time. It's literally if you can't get like we'll just in Melee. If anyone doesn't know this stuff, you have to do this thing called wave. First, what's the
With
wave
Dash.
thing? Wave dash.
Mm.
Yeah. If you can't
Mm.
master that, you cannot play Melee competitive. I tried
No.
doing it. I tried doing it for I think I practiced about a good week trying to do it. The whole wave dashing thing. I just couldn't do it. I literally couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
And
And
it is
because
very hard to master if
obviously,
you don't know what
because
you're doing.
like obviously in other games, you people say, well, where's wave dashing in Smash and Brawl, and they basically implement it into the characters. You don't have to do it; it's just
Yep.
in their function to do it. You can't wave dash, you can't play competitively, and it's like I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can't do this. Like people say, you got to do it like this. I was like, I just couldn't do it. I practiced for hours on end trying to do it, and I just couldn't do it. You know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a tricky thing to master if you don't know what you're doing, and
Mhm.
especially if you want to play competitive, you really have to learn it because it
Mhm.
will screw you up otherwise. And I mean, I play casually, so it's not really a
Yeah.
big freaking deal for me. And
Mhm.
I'm just playing Smash Bros for the fun, you know, because I really
Right.
enjoy
You play more
beat.
melee, or do you play like or the or ultimate right now?
I'm playing Ultimate, but I also have Melee at home. So whenever I
Okay.
feel like I want to be competitive, I play Melee. If I don't want to be
Yeah.
too awfully competitive and have a more casual experience with up to 8 people, I just play Ultimate because it's the best thing to do when you have a lot of people around.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you like ultimate? I didn't hate it like other people did. I thought it was fine.
I really enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
it's a great game, and I think it's also a great celebration of video games as a whole. If you
Okay.
look at the entire roster of the game,
Yeah.
it is more than a fighting game. And that's what
Hmm.
the creator of the game also stressed. It's not exactly a fighting game, it's more like a party
Yeah.
game. And if you look at it from that perspective, it does make sense. And
Hmm.
you approach it a little bit more different than like the average fighting game that you normally play,
Hmm.
like is it the Guilty Gears or the
Yeah.
Blaze Blues or whatever,
Yeah.
it is a lot different. I mean,
What did what did you think about Brawl after all these years now?
I mean, I'm probably in the minority. I actually didn't hate Brawl. It is
Mhm.
wacky. It is wacky. It has
Yeah.
its problems,
Mhm.
definitely, especially the trip mechanic that really threw me off. I
I
was
don't
like,
even know
what
why
the
that was in there. Why did they
nobody
ever do?
knew. Nobody knows. Even to this day, nobody knows. Um,
Oh
and
God.
I enjoy it thoroughly though. I mean, like I said, it
Mhm.
has its quirks, but it does work.
Mhm.
And if you
My
if you
problem
really
with it was that it was always too fast. Every character was
yep,
insanely either too slow or too fast. Like Sonic is really fast in
insane.
Brawl. Yeah. And
S-
he's
s-
unbalanced. It's just if you ever balanced out his speed in that game with his actual strength capabilities, he'd be a good character, but he's not because he's too fast. You can't make him work. In Smash 4 and
Yep,
Ultimate, they balanced it out and they made him a lot stronger, actually. And,
yep,
I'm sitting there going like, damn, Brawl to Smash 4. I didn't play Smash 4 that much. I didn't have a Wii U. I only played
yeah.
Smash 4 at a friend's house when we were training to go to you know what Evo is, right? We were training to go to
Mhm.
Evo that year, and that's when we had Smash 4. I didn't really care for Smash 4 all that much actually. It was okay. I thought it was fine.
Smash 4 existed
Yeah.
to say the
Mhm.
least. It was like this middle ground between what we got in Ultimate and what we got
Yeah.
with Brawl.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like experimenting a little bit with it, but you can also tell that they had some genuinely good ideas in that game, but most of them didn't survive the transition to the to Ultimate in the end, you know. And I'm kind of glad that some of the stuff got actually came and went, you know. Like, I mean, the old like arcade style of playthrough that you got in Smash 4, where you go across the board with your character and just pick the enemies you want to pick, then get like extra teammates when you have certain challenges. It is an interesting approach, but it just felt dull because it didn't feel like they didn't think this through properly. Whereas in Ultimate, you have like every character has their own arcade ladder, right? So you go through the levels, you have handpicked enemies and all that stuff. I'm actually kind of glad that they did that, because it makes the routes more unique. You have to like really wire your brain differently how to approach certain fights. Especially when you play with Pichu and all these characters who are not exactly the strongest. You really have to consider your moveset as well. And I really like that about the new arcade mode, and especially with the new boss battles that they added in Ultimate. I love those boss battles, like fighting Rathalos. I mean, come on, man. The sheer idea is insane.
Who was your favorite character in Ultimate to play? Like, if you had like 3 characters that you normally or go to play.
Well, if we take the DLC characters into consideration, it's definitely Terry Bogard from
Terry was
King of.
Yeah,
Terry
I like Terry.
insane.
Yeah, that was a great addition to the game. Yeah,
with the extra inputs that you have to can put in with the power geyser and all that stuff. Holy smokes, man! Well, who else did I play? Snake from Metal Gear, and also what else did I main? Man, it's been so long. I think I also mained Ike from Fire Emblem, funnily enough, because he's
he's not a bad character. It's just his playstyle compared to the other Sword characters, it's just a little bit different because he's a lot slower. But if you playing Ike, what I've figured out teaches you patience. That's why I always tell people, you're playing the fast characters is cool, but if you I always tell new people, if you want to get better at the game, play different play styles of characters. It'll teach you certain things you just don't know. Like playing Ike teaches you patience about, okay, if I all in right now, and if I don't kill him, I'm dead. Like things like that, you just probably won't know if you're playing like a character like maybe Lucina or Sonic or Meta Knight or whoever, you know, that's a little bit more lighter weight. That's why I enjoy playing Ike or characters like Donkey Kong, because they'll teach you like, okay, windows of timings that you wouldn't otherwise notice if you didn't play this character or knew this play style. But then again, I don't know if I'd ever go to a tournament maining Ike. That'd be kind of scary. I'd be like, damn, holy shit.
I'd be probably shitting bricks if I would main Ike at a tournament, dude. Like,
I don't know how people did it.
I mean, the worst things have happened. I mean, look at some of the tournaments where some low tier character suddenly won the tournament, and you're like, huh? How? Weirder things have happened. I mean, I don't like playing as Jigglypuff, but some people just love playing as Jigglypuff. I hate the moveset of that character. But people just love that character. I have no idea why, and I will never understand it.
I don't get Hungry Box's obsession with it. I don't get it.
I don't either. But
like,
you know,
I plays Pikachu and shit. I think Pikachu in Melee is actually pretty decently solid. You know, it's overall good. But when it got to like people were playing Yoshi, I was like, okay, Yoshi's pretty jank. Actually, like I always played Marth and Samus in Melee. I couldn't play Falco and Fox and Sheik because I just couldn't do it. Like Sheik is pretty hard to learn. Like,
Sheik is also pretty fast as well. You have to really adjust to the timing of the whole the movement, and then you have to accommodate for the timing of the jump frames and all that stuff. Nailing that character is a task within itself.
Did you like playing Captain Falcon in Melee? I thought it was cool. It's pretty fun.
Did I play him in? Yeah, I played it in Melee. I thought Falcon Punch was busted in that game, and I thought the one in N64 was already like broken.
Yeah,
but man, the distance and the power that guy had, and he was like the 3rd fastest character at some point. And I was like, how's that even possible? That guy's a race car driver and a bounty hunter, you know?
What was that one fire character they added into Ultimate? The Pokemon, not Great Ninja.
The
one that looks like a dog.
Incineroar?
Incineroar's cool as
Yeah.
hell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the luchador movements, like,
Good
oh, the
God.
posing and all that stuff. I love that.
The only characters I could never get into was the Zelda characters. I never really got into playing Link or Toon Link or all those characters like that.
I'm the only one I could actually see myself playing as Ganondorf because his moveset is very similar to the one that Captain
Yeah.
Falcon has. Especially
Mhm.
when you play melee, it is very
Mhm.
noticeable. It's just a
Yeah.
palette swap essentially, but
Mhm.
luckily they gave him his own personality in Ultimate, so I'm kind of glad
Thank
they did
God.
that. Thank God.
Yeah, yeah. Roy. I remember Roy and Marth from Melee were just basically the same character, except Roy's just a little bit more weaker. I hated when they did that stuff. Oh, like just make a new character then at that point, you know?
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Just tweak it a little bit more so it's not noticeable, and then you should be fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, for some odd reason they didn't do that. I have no idea why they did it, but yeah, it is what it
What did
is.
you? I'll ask you this because I don't know if you know about the when you know about the competitive side of Smash. What do you think about when the players talk about Nintendo not like supporting them in
Mm.
terms of, because I'm pretty sure you know what the arguments are. They're like, well, if they supported us, then all this stuff would happen. But like, I've always, I don't want to be that guy, but it's like, how much money can Nintendo really make off like esports tournaments? Because you know this as well as I do, man. Like
Mm.
esports don't make that much money. I don't know what these players actually think. There's not much money going in
That
esports.
is
There
not.
never was. There never was though. It was always a smoke and mirrors thing. And yeah, like these Smash players are like, well, if you gave us some like money, it could go a long way. I'm like, but do what with it? All you have is like
Mm.
it's a grassroots scene. It can only go so far. Like Nintendo just can't remake Melee because the net code is
Nah,
obviously something they've bypassed years ago. And the creator had said, like what you said earlier, the creator is like, well, I want to make it a party game. It's kind of like something you play for fun. You know, he never
yeah,
actually intended it to be a competitive thing. That was
no.
people doing that. You know, so what have you always thought about the whole competitive Nintendo angle and against the players?
I'll just say this much: if Nintendo was smart, they should actually put more money into the competitive scene and make it entice people more to play it more. But I
Yeah,
understand from a business point of view because don't forget, Nintendo is technically a toy company still, and
technically, yeah,
most of the things they put out are just toys that you can play on.
yeah,
And I can understand it from that perspective because holding up all these tournaments and also financing them is not cheap. And
yeah. And the return on
you have
why is
to
not
think about
there.
it from the Japanese
Yeah,
perspective as well, because
yeah,
they want to make the most profit possible. So why
yeah.
would they sink money into something they could potentially lose money in?
Right, right.
And
Hmm.
I understand they but let me put it this way: I can kind of understand how Nintendo ticks in a way, but also I don't understand how they tick because they have a weird approach to how they run a business.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would love if they would support the competitive scene a lot more. I mean, they should have done that with Splatoon, in my opinion, because that was like one of the most
Oh, I remember
competitive
that.
games they had on the console.
Yeah, I remember that. Hmm.
And Smash, well, I mean, Smash is very loved too,
Yeah,
and
sure. Hmm.
I think Nintendo underestimated how much support they were actually getting from the fighting community. And that's why
Yeah.
they never really dipped their toes into the waters of actually,
Hmm.
making an official, super official like tournament. I mean, you've seen the World Series every once
I
in a while,
have.
or
Yeah.
whatever it was called,
Hmm.
but
It was like the
that was the
Smash
only
Cup. Yeah.
Smash Cup. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
only extent that I know of.
Yeah,
You know,
because I think uh, they're probably thinking if it doesn't give me like a 10, 20 times ROI, it's not worth it because that's what these people think. These business people, like it's not like over here where people are just willing to just dump in money for stuff and go like, oh,
yep,
maybe in a year this might. No, they want to make money at that very moment in time. It's not like
exactly.
if they don't think the return on Y is there, and you can't really blame them, like you said, because esports doesn't really have a huge return on Y. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It really does not. Like you saw so much people. Remember from the Overwatch period, you had all these like
Mhm.
venture capitalists coming in. They thought, oh, esports going to be the next real sports. All that was not true. Might have been the biggest bust in like gaming history. Where you had
And
all these
look where they
VC
are now.
funding. Yeah, look at all these VC funders. They're not putting money back in. They realize this doesn't make money. Like the fans, they'll play the games, but financially supporting the orgs that kind of had the
Hmm.
players, they just kind of don't do that. You know, like
Yeah.
fans want shit for free. like fucking weird communists because that's how they grew up, and that's kind of just who they are at this point. You know, they think things just be given to them for free without understanding. Hey, if you don't put any money into this, we can't really have it. But you know, shit. So, do you think Nintendo's gonna have another console, like outside of the Switch? You think they're gonna be chilling on the Switch for a little bit?
I mean, I think once the new Switch is coming out, I think they're just going to chill for a little bit because you have to think. Let me just put it this way: Nintendo is not exactly known for like breaking the grain when it comes to making their consoles, right? They're usually 1 or 2 generations behind on tech, right? Because if you really think about it, the Switch doesn't have 4K support or like 1440p or whatever. I mean, I'm not a graphics whore, so it doesn't really bother me that much if a console only makes 1080p, but Nintendo has to go with the time a little bit. And if they re-release like Smash in 4K, I mean, the game already looks insane in emulation if you play with proper 60 FPS. Holy smokes, man. But I think the Switch 2 or whatever the success is going to be called might be the last console they make. Then they just might actually just focus on making games for that platform moving forward. But you never know, because the console market is a very how should I put it? Like a very uncertain space, especially nowadays. I mean, you see like the PlayStation dropping off in sales, Microsoft essentially becoming a publisher at this point because their consoles don't sell and they want to push Game Pass and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so I
think, like because people have mentioned like or sorry, not people. There's been data to show that there have been record low console sale numbers from the PS4, Switch, Xbox One era to this one right now. Like the actual console sales not only are down, but the actual game sales are down too. And what I was trying to tell people, dude, is like I don't think we're getting new consoles anytime soon because people are factoring. You have to. There's so much money you have to invest into making a console, and right now they can barely sell the consoles they have outside like Nintendo. They can barely sell the games they're making right now. So they're investing all this money. I told people these are probably going to be the last consoles for a while, actually. So you know when Sony had that press release from the CEO a few days ago, he's talking about they kind of want people to buy. They're putting their games on Steam to get PC players to buy the PS5, but it's like. PC players, first of all, if you're on PC Master Race, you don't give a fuck about what a console's doing. You're just gonna stay on PC. 100%. And what he just said right there, if anyone has a PS5, it's because usually people think, well, these consoles have a life cycle. Generally, pre Xbox One era, we had consoles on a life cycle. He just basically confirmed PS5 ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So you could get a PS5 next year, and you're probably chilling for like the next 6 years. Honestly, there's no need to make new consoles. There's no need to make more new consoles. There really isn't. Like, what can they do? What can they, outside of like the Switch, what can these two not do that they can't do? I don't understand. I don't understand why we need newer ones. These are fine. These are not only just fine, these are great. You can stream movies. You can stream in 4K. Your games look really good. The hardware is great.
I think the thing is, what people also tend to forget is that these console manufacturers or the publishers themselves lose money on these consoles. They make their money on the software that they put out. The problem is, though, especially because let's face it, some companies have been financially regarded in the last couple of years, that they should have just gone multi-platform, and that's what's biting Square Enix in the ass right now, because they'll put all their eggs into Sony's basket, and then also Epic Games for PC. And that's what's biting them in the butt, and that's why you see so many games coming to Steam all of a sudden. Because, I mean, Christ, I don't know how familiar you are with the Kingdom Hearts series, but that's now coming to Steam as well, and that's been like 5 years since it's been on Steam. It's insane.
Yeah,
it should have been on Steam like 5 years ago. Honestly,
I didn't play Kingdom Hearts 3. I played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memory and Game Boy Advance. I played the original one on PS2, and I played Kingdom Hearts 2 on PS2. I had this like DS. We had a DS, and I played a version of it. The problem with Kingdom Hearts is there's just so much. It's not bad. It's not a bad franchise, but there's just so many games, and there's so much lore. A lot of it's really confusing. Some stuff contradicts one and the other game.
As hell.
Really convoluted.
Very, very convoluted.
Yeah. So I didn't play Kingdom Hearts 3. When I get this thing that I'm getting set up right now that I haven't told anyone, I'll probably end up getting Kingdom Hearts 3 to play it. Obviously, I want to play it. It's a franchise I really, really like. But I can understand why Square Enix is going, well, we'll say multi-platform, like like
multi-platform. Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, this should have happened a long time ago. I never really understood I understood the console exclusivity, but then there was a time period I remember on the Wii U, if you remember it, where if you don't know, the Wii U had a lot of exclusives. Still, the
Yep.
console still didn't sell. Actually, technically, there's a fun fact for everyone: the Wii U has as many exclusives as some of these new consoles right now. Exclusives really don't sell consoles like that. It was a myth.
No,
People just sold that to you on some bullshit. You know, there's always exceptions to the rule, like Spider-Man, obviously, and Halo for Microsoft. There's exceptions, but people kept gassing in their brains. My console has exclusives. Those exclusives were doing fuck all, actually.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really think about it, what was the console exclusive excuse that they used to have? They had like guest characters in certain games, right? Like console specific guest characters for certain games. I mean, the best example to this day, Soul Calibur 2. You had Spawn for Xbox. You had Link for the GameCube version. That was probably the best selling version of the game. Then you had freaking Heihachi for PlayStation 2. And you know why Heihachi actually happened? Because they couldn't get Cloud. From Final Fantasy VII. That's why they had to opt out to get Heihachi into the game.
Yeah,
that was insane.
God,
and
we live in a great period.
We live in a great period, and I mean, I think the last one I vividly remember is probably Darth Vader and Yoda as a guest character for like PlayStation and Xbox. Like Xbox got Darth Vader, and PlayStation got like Yoda essentially, the color specific characters, and. Yeah, I mean, console exclusives nowadays are a weird thing because most of the consoles are pretty identical with the hardware they have, apart from the Switch, obviously.
Yeah.
So they don't really have the excuse to not port things over anymore. And I mean, most people associate Final Fantasy with PlayStation still because that's where the majority of the games were. But essentially, since I think the 13th entry, it always has been kind of multi-platform since. I mean, yeah, like the odd one every once in a while, like I think was like 11 and 14, the online ones that were also on PC. But yeah, the majority of the games nowadays should be multi-platform. There's no excuse not to do it. And you know what? The profit margin is a lot better if you do it. And I mean, you have the average console player who's like, yeah, but PC players pirate their games. And that may be true in certain countries because the games are ridiculously expensive.
And they don't have access to the consoles over there. There's countries like Philippines that don't have access to the same stuff that we do. I mean, Sony recently with the whole not the password sharing, the whole PSN connecting. Yeah, you understand. It's not that people don't want to connect because it's free. That is a fucking tone-deaf argument people use. When they implement that, other people in other countries, I don't know how much people care about this, but this is just goes to show how weird this company is and how like I would say kind of like gassing things up for their investors. The whole PSN account thing has nothing to do with it being free when it came to the Helldivers thing. They literally tried to lock people out of a game that you already bought. They tried to steal from you. They tried to take money you invested in their game so you couldn't play anymore. That is stealing, okay? It had nothing to do with it being free. Yeah. Oh my God, that might have been one of the worst arguments of gaming I've seen in a while. People are like, well, it's free, man. Why do you care? It's like, bro, it's not about it being free. It has nothing to do with that. It has literally nothing to do with it being free. It's just people just want to suck off fucking random corporations because reasons. I don't know. So stupid.
The whole defense thing just really bugs me because no one in their right mind would do that kind of thing, right? Like, ideally, you want people to play the games as much as you want. If you get pushback on that, you should just easily say, like, look, we're not going to make these restrictions. We hear you. We're going to back the fuck off for now. Just be warned that we may change our attitude in like 3 to 4 years, like they did with. I don't know if you remember this whole debacle with the PS3 and the PS Vita store. When the rumor was circulating around that they might shut it down, and everybody was like, "Hey, what the fuck? We're still playing on these consoles. Why would you shut them down?" And Sony was like, "Yeah, we can't maintain the service, dude. You know, it is dumb, it's super fucking dumb." But you know what? That's the problem with digital distribution. People can just do whatever the fuck they want nowadays. They can even change games 10 years after the fact. Like the whole thing with Skullgirls that happened when they changed the digital artwork that you purchased after the fact, censored the outfits and everything. That should not be a thing. If you own a game, you should be able to own it and not just have to be at the mercy of the company where you bought the game from. And that's the problem with digital distribution. You don't own the game. You just get a license to play, and you don't have anything. And that's why I'm an advocate for physical media. That's why that's one of the reasons why I, for example, still collect vinyl records or buy CDs. I mean, granted, due to my old profession, I'm kind of forced to do that anyway. But
yeah.
But I just like having physical media because you still are able to use it even if the internet doesn't work. You still have a medium that works. All the old consoles never had to rely on internet to actually play the games. Even if you downloaded them from a store, you still had them. You weren't forced to log in, and that's the important thing. So
yeah, because you'll buy a game and you'll stream it on like YouTube or whatever, doing a playthrough, and you have it where you can't even monetize it because they're like, well, you don't own the game, or like, and you don't own the copyright. And it's like, well, I don't think people are claiming that they own the copyright. People aren't really claiming that. It's more like if a game is playing copyrighted music, you can't like do really anything about that unless you like obviously mute the game or you mute your tab, mute your console you're playing on, wherever way you can. And it's like, well, how can a person really like if you're doing a playthrough of something or you're playing a game, hearing the music is how the human mind intunes himself in the game. Like score matters, gaming score. A lot of people like gaming scores. Like the scores keeps you intact to play the game. I don't want to have to like delete the fucking music out of a playthrough. It's like, God, it's just so much weird stuff going on with gaming now, man. It's just, it's a controversy every day, But you're starting to see a lot of these companies, fold right now. Xbox having all these layoffs and shit. People are talking about a handheld. Guys, I think that's a pipe dream. You're not getting any more Xbox consoles. That's not happening. The Xbox X Series X is probably the last one you're ever getting.
I mean, Microsoft is kind of smart in that regard that they want to put more money into like being a distributor and actually making this cloud thing of something because it gives you more platforms that you can play games on. But they forget that it doesn't necessarily drive sales. I mean, I like the idea of Game Pass, right? It is an interesting concept, but it also stifles game sales because people have this attitude of like, well, it's on Game Pass, why should I buy it?
True. Yeah.
And that's the only downside to Game Pass, in my opinion. I mean, I have the ultimate one for PC and console, so I can actually play on the go when I want to continue a certain game. I can still play it on my computer or play it on my phone or whatever. But I think that's the problem. You still have to be always online at all times when you want to play the games, because obviously you need a strong internet connection to actually play them. And if you essentially shit out of luck if you don't have any internet, and that's same thing with Sony always demanding PlayStation Network from now on. I mean, you can't even play the new God of War on PC without PSN. They made that mandatory now, even though it's a fucking single player game. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima had the same thing, but only for the multiplayer section, I think. And I don't understand their train of thought. They had such a good success going with Helldivers, and then it was essentially like, how can we fuck this up? It was going a bit too well for them. And I think Sony hates money at this point. I mean, if you look at all the investments they made recently, you're thinking to yourself, why would you do this to yourself?
It's like the meme of the guy. It's like that meme of the guy in the board meeting, and he just says some bullshit, and they just throw him out. Yeah, what's crazy about that meme is they don't do that. The guy that says the bullshit is staying.
Yep. I mean, I made this joke before, but Sony essentially has the same problem that Disney has with Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars. For some reason, they still got her around. I have no idea how much dirt she has on Disney executives, but she must have a lot of dirt. But that's exactly the same thing. And I find that insane. How such sheer incompetence is still able to run as a CEO in a CEO kind of position. It is
strong whammy.
Unbelievable.
That's all it is.
Yeah, sad but true. Sad but true.
Like, I swear, women are the only people that could like fail upwards, and people would give them like, passes for everything. Women get like passes for like straight everything, even if they
I mean,
completely fail at something.
let's be honest here. If it weren't the entertainment industry, those people would have been fired already for their
Yeah,
sheer
yeah,
fucking incompetence, for
yeah,
being a financial liability.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
True.
if I would fuck up at my job, I mean,
Mhm.
technically I'm in jail with 1 foot anyway,
Mhm.
every fucking day because of my responsibility that I have towards the patients that I treat, right?
Mhm.
But that's the exact same problem you run into. Do you keep someone around even though they're very fucking incompetent and actually are a danger to the person, or do you actually find someone else who can do the job better
Mhm.
but more safe?
Right.
And I feel like the entertainment industry as a whole has this problem that they are too big to they think they're too big to fail, you know
Mhm.
and
That's
and
also
they just
the reason why the movie
that's
industry is failing. They thought
yep.
that the gravy train was just going to keep running because back in the day, we literally, well, we that's all they're all we had. They're all we knew, and there was this mysterious aura around Hollywood, and they just kind of just got money by default. Even on like really
Yep.
bad stuff, money would just roll in, and like really awful movies would make a lot of money because that's kind of all you really knew at that point, you know.
Yeah.
But now people are kind of going like, I don't really need to watch that. That's not really like a must see movie I need to watch right now. I could just wait. And
Yep.
they've also had their big hand in driving people away from seeing movies now. And movies are having like record low numbers. I'm talking these something is you it used to be like I remember like something flopping would be like abnormal if a movie would flop or not as much,
Yeah.
right? Now movies are just
It was
flopping
it
just
was
fucking
unheard of.
yeah,
It
now
was
movies are just
unheard of.
fucking flopping just cause. Like every week a new flop, flop here, flop there. It's like fucking hell. Oh shit.
It is, but you know what? It really opens your eyes to like how the industry's working nowadays.
Mhm.
And when I see these budgets, I'm like, thinking to myself, like, where does all this money go? Like the shows look fucking cheap in comparison,
Mhm.
or very sterile, and it is weird how that works.
Yeah. Well, I know you have to head out of here,
Yeah,
and
it's rather late here, so
yeah.
but
So I want to ask the last few things before we head out, which is,
yep.
do you have anything planned coming up that you want to let people know about? Actually.
Well, it's my birthday on Sunday, so
Oh,
I'm
happy
gonna
birthday. Okay.
20 34 tomorrow, and we're gonna do a birthday stream on Monday for me, but it's gonna be like late at night for you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a birthday stream, probably like 18 to 24 hours marathon,
Mhm.
and just play some games,
Mhm.
probably on the YouTube side. Other than that, just working on some videos for my gaming channel, Gaming with Smoo, which is the channel that I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, just follow me on Twitter at DJ Smoo. That's where you find me the most. I post like the art piece or shit post every once in a while, or just random thought that I have, and just roll with that.
All
That's
right.
all I have, really.
And got any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular? Anything else you want to say before you head out?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my best or dear friend Nomi Without You. She's one of my friends who actually helped me get into the sphere a little bit more, and actually get acquainted with certain people. Also to my man Tomby, he's my co-host who plays a lot of games with me as well. He's a great guy and crazy generous. I have no idea how I deserve to be playing games with that guy, but yeah, he's insanely generous and talented. Also, massive shout out to X-Ray Girl, because if it wouldn't be for her, I wouldn't even be in this group of people,
Mhm.
of amazing people.
You're
And
thinking a
yeah,
Chinese person?
yeah, well,
Okay, good.
Vietnamese, but
They're all the same. Don't tell her that. She'll
no,
probably just beat us up.
I mean,
Yeah.
you ain't wrong, but yeah, I'm just generally grateful for the viewers and everybody who's like reaching out to me and supporting, giving me support and everything throughout the years. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's very humbling. I'm very
Yes,
grateful for
sir.
that.
I met Nomi and in
She's
Vegas.
great.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you Smooth, for coming on, and thank you guys for checking
Pleasure.
out this video. We will see you guys in the next one. If you're a returning subscriber, new subscriber, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, comment down below, turn on notifications. That way you can be notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, Master Swag King, signing out, guys. Peace. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay.
Deuces.